would you like to go first?
How do we start?
All these people are waiting, Corey.
We
do a good job.
I think this was a last minute thing for us. We didn't find out until Thursday night that we were invited to this, and we got the itinerary on Friday evening that this was going to be a whole day event. We showed up at around 7:30 in the morning, and we were there until 10:30. They had the entire thing planned out. It was extremely selective, which I'm glad they invited us, but I went into this excited, not like I'm excited to see it. You know, all this talk, all this hype about something, and then, you know, you finally get to see it. Craig, I think you were maybe hesitant.
Yeah. Okay. So going back to the Potter idea with all of this, part of what I love about the Wizarding World of Harry Potter is that you look at both Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley, and you know, you hear from the actors who were a part of those movies, and they say, standing in these lands, it makes you feel like, you know, we are back on the sets, but in a grander sense, because you can walk in through these buildings, you can see everything in there. So my whole thoughts going into Pandora before all this was, and as I said so many times eloquently on the show, is Avatar is, to me, it's a C movie. It's a B movie. Not in terms of how bad it is. It's just, it doesn't appeal to me. I think it's a weak movie besides the stunning visuals that are in it that drove it to become the juggernaut that it is. So that's why this land kind of lacked that interest to me. I know they, like, before, as it was leading up to it, they were saying, oh, you don't have to see the movie to be able to appreciate it.
And what have I been telling you? What have I been saying since the very, very beginning? What is the exact phrase I have used on this show and to you personally for ages?
About Joe Rohde and James Cameron together.
Thank you.
Doing amazing things.
Not even John Landau. Okay, because John Landau was responsible for that abortion of a nighttime show at Universal. So I'm not even counting him in that. But Joe Rohde,
is that
James Cameron,
Rivers of Light?
The last time.
No, I'm talking Universal.
The last time I saw Pandora was they had flat panel TVs, but it was like the DLPs. They weren't even flat. You know, like first 3D movies that came out. That's how long it's been. That's what?
2009.
2009.
It's okay, honey.
So I had I knew about Avatar, the movie, but I didn't watch it recently. But
the first time I saw Avatar was when I watched Fern Gully 20 years before.
But, so I think on a previous show, I said, it might be good. I think Kathy was on the show. I said, you should probably watch the movie before you go. You don't have to. You really don't have to. It won't hurt, but you don't need to do it. It's not like Star Wars. It's not like Harry Potter. This is brand new.
And, well, I'll start even before that. So the entire area, we've all seen the bridge by now that is blocked off on the way into right beside Tiffin's, and Steve's been out there doing live broadcasts from there many times on this show. And so we've all wondered, what is behind this besides the floating mountains and stuff that we've seen in Disney's images? But as soon as you actually step foot onto this bridge, you slowly hear the music start to come in. And then, they had to open up a door for us to go in there. And literally the second you step foot into the land, you start hearing the wildlife. And you start hearing just slow melodies from music coming. And then you realize, and that's where it clicked for me automatically. I couldn't hear anything happening in Animal Kingdom as soon as we crossed over into this land.
You were definitely on a different planet.
It's as if you crossed over into a complete different world, which, that is very hard to do. Diagon Alley, they were able to do it at Universal, but that's because you have to cross through a wall and it's blocked and cornered off. But this, without having a wall, just with using a kind of a natural made berm to hide it using trees and wildlife, they separated it completely. And then, even though you've seen the movie, the visuals that they created for this Valley of Moara is just
It's sensory
beyond
overload.
beautiful.
It's realistic, but it's so surreal. I mean, it's like I stepped into like a Salvador Dali painting, and everything around
Wow,
me.
that's high praise coming from you.
Oh, I'm telling you, you can't tell what a real plant is and what a fake one is. They combine the real with the fake. They duplicated real plants right next to real and fake right next to each other. You can't even tell. So it's sensory overload. It's a piece of artwork. It's like you're inside you stepped into a sculpture.
Yeah, it's classic Disney storytelling too. You have to start walking in through the land before it really fully opens up, and just you're engulfed by it. It has that progression, but everything feels alive here, and I mean that is the idea: is that everything is alive in there. Like Corey said, the only way you can tell the difference between a real plant and a fake one, besides obviously some of the fake ones are very over exaggerated,
over the top, yeah.
but it's that with some of the realistic ones, it's whether or not the wind's blowing, because the fake ones are obviously standing still, and the real ones are interacting with that. But it's one of those things. There is no picture or video that can truly do justice of standing in there and just being a part of it. And
Okay, I want you to listen to this, folks. I want you to listen to this. This is from somebody who, for the last however many years I've known him, talk about Avatar. Meh. Listen to what he's saying.
Because-
I'm just saying.
And it's because it genuinely has nothing to do with the movie. My thoughts have not changed on the movie. This is
Right. I mean, that's
a
not
new
my
thing
point.
beyond it.
That's not
Yeah.
my point. I've said, wait till you see it. Wait till you see it.
Well,
before you. But you and I'm not blaming you. I am, but not really. You and everybody in the fan community that has been meh about Pandora. Joe Rohde, James Cameron. Wait, go back and watch. Go back and watch. I don't know how many damn shows I've said it on, but this is exactly what I thought would happen.
I think
I'm gloating right now.
I think
I'm
there are
gloating.
three types of Disney fans,
And I'm going to rub it in people's face.
They're the one. There's the group that I hate Avatar. This doesn't belong at Disney. I can't believe they're doing this. Disney should think of something else by themselves. And then there's the ones that I really want to see it. I can't wait. Something new is great. That's me. And then there's the other ones that just they're Avatar fans. Like they're peeking through. Can't wait. But I think everybody's going to be pretty shocked. I think all three of those groups.
So tell us about the big thing is the rides. Tell us about the rides.
Okay, so go through it how we experienced it. The first thing the first ride they took us to was the river,
The Navi
River journey. And it is a little calm boat ride through a bioluminescent forest. If you're watching this, the seating for it.
That's the whole boat.
And
It's a little
if
tiny
you don't
boat.
know about what Navi is, that those are the people that live on Pandora.
Yeah.
So you're going to hear a lot about Navi.
Yeah, there's multiple inhabitants of this world. There's the Na'vi. Those are the actual ones. Then there's also avatars. Those are people who are taking the characteristics of the Na'vi in an avatar, and then the expats and all the people who are running it. The boat ride is, to me, in terms of a Disney attraction, I would probably say this would be a C or a D ticket style ride. This isn't the end-all be-all thing to come here. The big thing that everyone's been talking about it is seeing the shaman that we saw for those commercials way back when I
This
think at
animatronic
Christmas.
is amazing.
And it's the most.
Yeah.
And I know that in the video that you posted of this attraction, we've got some great video of the shaman. So, and that's on the DIS YouTube
Yeah,
channel,
we have
youtube.com/WDWinfo.
Yes, sir.
What happens on the ride? Are they singing and dancing? Is it
No,
small Navi?
it's like a very like it's
on
like
a
a spiritual journey. It's very visual. There's music, but it gets more visual as the journey goes. With that kind of being you see the shaman at the end.
Is someone telling you a story like?
No story
No
involved.
story.
You see some of the creatures from the land. You see how the bioluminescent plants and wildlife really come to life in the dark environment. And then, it does kind of end with the shaman, and almost as if she's orchestrating this entire thing, bringing everything to life in a way. As we said, the most realistic audio animatronic they've made.
Is the shaman Sigourney Weaver?
No, honey.
It is
It's okay, baby.
fully,
It's okay.
completely electric. It is, from Joe Rohde's mouth, it is the most sophisticated animatronic they have ever created for anything in Disney. And it shows that even like the lips just curl under slightly.
She's so fluid.
It is so
the way she moves.
realistic. Yeah. It's
The movement
Right.
is what it really is hard to discern whether or not this is a person or not, because the movement is so exacting and very fluid. So
And the great thing about the Navi River journey is that it's no height requirement. It is family friendly for everyone. I think kids will be absolutely enamored in it.
There's no drop. There's
No,
no,
there's
There's
water,
no
you
drop.
don't
There's
get
none of
wet.
that. It is just a very relaxing visual journey. But this is inside. I think a lot of the artist renderings, you thought there was going to be some sort of outdoor
I thought so
boat
too.
ride. This is all indoor, so day or night, you still get to experience the bioluminescence.
Cool.
Yeah.
all right, what about
The e-ticket attraction, which has the potential of becoming the go-to attraction in Animal Kingdom, is Flight of Passage. We knew leading up to it, this is the attraction where you're going to get to fly on a Banshee. You are going to get to take part in that flight. So
We knew a little going in that it was going to be, like similar to Soarin'. That's about all we kind of knew going in.
There was the
gonna be
confusion.
simulation.
There was the confusion about whether or not you're actually going to ride on a Banshee, because some leaked photos and stuff showed a Banshee that was most likely still at Imagineering, and they were testing on that. But yeah, so it is basically, in my opinion, it is a mix of Soarin' and Star Tours together. So the seats that you ride on are very similar to the seating for the Tron roller coaster in Shanghai Disneyland. From what I've been told, since I've never experienced that, just looking at it first.
Like a motorcycle, yep.
Yeah, you sit on it kind of like a crotch rocket, and you're not just.
I don't ever want to hear those words come out of your mouth.
It is. It's just a fast
then,
motorcycle.
That is his
You
profile.
got to lean forward.
Yeah, you're not.
Tinder.
And you're not just like sitting on it like a bike. This isn't riding an ET bicycle over at Universal. You get in, and then from behind you, there's a kind of a backrest that swings up behind you and pins you in. And then it also does that on your legs too.
Right behind your calves.
You are completely like conformed in this, because then they also said you're gonna feel the flapping of the wings, you're gonna feel the breathing of the Banshee. You're
And
gonna
right
hear
between
it.
your legs, like you'll feel like you're riding on something breathing, like in your inner thighs.
Yeah, and basically, so
Oh,
I'm telling
the
you.
jokes that write themselves.
but you do. And
Yeah.
that's the greatest part of the ride. Is just like there's one portion where it just stops, and your Banshee is resting, and you just hear it snarling coming from the seat, and you feel it breathing. And I don't think it's a super difficult creation for them to come up with. It's just they took all these little techniques and they put it all together in something that really works. That being said, it's a very constrictive ride. This will be the first attraction that I would truly say is going to be complained about, as a lot of Universal attractions are, that it is not accommodating for all people.
I have a question for you guys. I watched the whole preview. The whole preview for this ride is very long.
Yeah.
It seemed to me like they might have been measuring people, like to fit this ride. It felt like they were like, stand in the right spot, Like they might have been.
I think at that point it's going to be there will be a ride vehicle outside where people can test, or try it out. But
if this thing pushes against your back, it has to
It
take into
does.
account different body types.
there was somebody in our group where I don't know if they were just having technical issues. Like I said, the soft preview. So maybe just that one didn't work, but they were trying to push and it just wouldn't lock. So I don't know if they moved her to a different one or there was something else.
Is there any accommodations for people who with different abilities?
Well, there were two levels. The first level we had to go on, we had to actually have to walk upstairs, and the other one, so if you're in a wheelchair, you just have to move out of your wheelchair to that.
So you have to be able to transfer to the
Yes.
wheelchair.
I say if that
Yeah.
the ride is
Yes.
sitting on this thing, you have to be mobile enough to get out.
Yeah, and it is an intense-ish simulator. It's not a very easygoing experience, but just because of how it's designed, like you feel like there's people beside you, but you feel like you're on this experience flying on a Banshee by yourself. It does not feel like you're in this giant room sitting in front of
the
people.
vehicle itself move, or
Yes.
is there some
Yes.
other movement
The
involved?
vehicle is moving.
There's a lot of movement.
Yeah.
Now you said this is going to be the premier attraction
Yeah.
at Animal Kingdom.
Yes.
Do you think it will join the ranks of premier attractions across property or in Orlando?
Absolutely. It's one of the things I know Rhino and I talk about this a lot on the Universal show. It's 3D is one of those things that it can be done either really well or really poorly. Both of us prefer 3D when it is done with animated environments. It just looks better. There's kind of a ghosting effect that happens with 3D with actual people in these attractions. And so with this, I mean, yeah, it is a all CGI world. There's nothing in this movie that's real. So just like Avatar the movie was designed to be seen in 3D, this ride is some of the best 3D I've ever seen.
And it's
in
not
anything.
over the top. There was a point where I took my glasses off just to kind of see how messed up it would be. It was. You need your glasses, but it wasn't too bad. Ferris doesn't wear them. I don't think he would do this ride. But,
Again, I have to question, how are you going to fit a child? Because, I mean, where your calves are and a child's calves are seem like it's going to be world apart. There
Yeah.
has to be something that figures out the body type that goes
I mean,
into
well,
this
with a 44-inch height requirement for it, I mean, that's not the tallest for sure, but that's also going to cut out a lot of little kids on it.
So what is the story of the ride? Is it just you're flying on a Banshee, or does something happen?
yeah, you are joining a part of the Avatar program. So
Like a rite of
while you're in
passage.
line, you receive your avatar, and that's part of the pre-shows. And
This is incredible.
This is amazing.
I saw
yeah.
this. This
For those
is-
who are
Yes.
listening, we have a picture up of this is from the movie. One of the avatars in a containment tube
Floating in water.
floating
So-
in water. It's really amazing.
this is
that's-
towards the end of the queue. Yeah.
yeah, the whole queue kind of tells this story of first you see cave paintings of how how the Na'vi see all the Banshees, and then it moves into part of the RDA laboratory where they're helping to them and Ace they're helping to create these avatars that then you are going to be put into, and then the Banshee you ride on, that's why it's not a Banshee, because you are then riding on an Avatar Banshee essentially.
Yep.
And that's where the story comes into it. But yeah, the animatronic in the queue is so creepy. The way it just it's in the videos that we have up, it's just floating in there, but then it'll just kick its leg.
right.
Just so
How they produce?
It's like looking at like a little baby.
How they produced an animatronic that looks like it's floating in water. I don't know how they did
know.
it. It's unbelievable.
Joe Rohde, James Cameron.
And the last thing I'll say about the attraction is in terms of I have been very overly critical about soaring around the world, because I hate the fact that if you sit on the far right bottom,
Correct.
it has terrible curve. They have completely eliminated that from this. We sat on the far right side the first time and then sat in the middle.
So you're gonna get the same experience
Same
no matter where you're
experience.
sitting.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
a flat screen.
All right. So talk to me a little bit. Just being mindful of time.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about some of the food options that were available. What stood out to you?
Okay, so Satuli Canteen is the dining experience that they will have in there. We had a weird experience with this because, they wanted us to get as much as we could to sample. So their big thing they're going to be giving here are called Satuli Bowls, and it is basically a choose-your-own combination between either a fish, beef, chicken, tofu is your protein, and then several options that you can have under it, like sweet potato hash, mixed greens, kale salad, and brown rice. Just very simple stuff. And so we got to eat that all family style, kind of pick and choose combinations. And everything with that, I think it felt really fresh, really tasty.
And I think that's what they were going with that all the food here is gathered from Pandora. So if it wasn't gathered from Pandora, you're not going to see it. And even the first thing you see, a big wood burning stove, that everything had to be natural. So all the food you're getting is cooked on this wood burning stove. All the meats.
But I will talk about one thing in particular, which was very weird, and that is the pods that they have. So they gave us two different ones to sample. One was a cheeseburger pod, and the other was a vegetable curry pod. And so they're basically in a steamed bun. Let's ruin the magic here.
Like a dumpling or a bao bun. Yeah.
The cheeseburger pod was literally, I took one bite of it, and I love McDonald's cheeseburgers. They are like my guilty pleasure, and it tasted exactly like that. And I called the chef over, and I just had to ask. I'm like, it tastes like a McDonald's cheeseburger. How did you do this? And they said, well, because you can't customize it. We kept messing with the ingredients to get what we thought eventually would come out tasting like the most impressive and that people could least complain about. And that's how they got the flavor on it. I thought it was going to
good bar to go for.
I thought it was going to work really weird with the steamed bun, but it didn't. It was different. It was exotic. I like the fact that with the bowls, you have endless 50-something combinations that you could go back and keep trying different things.
And you're saying bowls, not bowls.
Bowls.
Oh, bowls.
Bowls.
Because I wasn't sure if he was saying bowls or bowls.
I don't know English. But yeah.
Bowl has a W in it.
Yeah, that's the one I'm going for. The one with the W. And then we did get to sample the two beers that they have there specifically brewed for them by Terrapin up in Georgia. And the one was a green hoppy one. I believe it was the Moara Grog. Delicious. Just like Universal's kind of gotten into that. They're trying to jump in that game, and I think they did a good job of it. Dessert, I will just go there real quick. Corey has nothing to say about that. He hates it. They have the blueberry mousse, which is so weird. It is everything that
weird.
John would hate. It is jiggly. It is gelatinous. But if you are a fan of berries, it was delicious, actually. And then just weird. It was one of those things I had to process it for a couple hours
Slightly
after.
Mammary looking.
And then the chocolate cheesecake they also had. It was, if you're a chocolate fan, rich. It's pretty tasty. So I think they've actually done a very good job, very admirable job with the dining. And then just to mention the merch real quick.
I was just going to say
that was amazing. I did not.
Okay, so just because when the Disney Parks blog released a peek at the merch, everybody was saying, it looks really boring. It doesn't look like they've done anything. So you're saying that the merch...
I mean, I can't believe they created so many original items around this land. You're not going to find like Mickey or Minnie in here. You're not going to find any sort of Donald Duck plush or anything. This is you're in a different land. Completely.
You won't even get a standard Disney bag here. They are that dedicated to it being a different land.
Thank you, God.
That you only get a Pandora bag if you're in there. It is strictly on that. The go-to purchase here is going to be the little puppet banshees that you get.
You adopt them.
You adopt them, and they're like little animatronic banshees that, like, the girl had it on her shoulder. and we'll be showing that off very soon here after the show. And they're $50, so we weren't allowed to take them home, but it will be the highest selling item that they have. It is so cool.
I was looking at some of the kids' merchandise and like the just the shirts they have for the women. Like there are shirts that you buy these and it doesn't look like you would never know you bought this from Pandora. And even the shirt designs flow into like the wall that they're hanging on. It's amazing the level of detail they went into.
Yeah.
Just
Joe Rohde.
everything.
They
Joe
have
Rohde.
bioluminescent shirts for at night. Lots of different materials that will glow while you're in the land. They really knocked it out of the park with it. A lot of this stuff does not appeal to me. I will say that.
like that
the merch,
backpack.
the merch was impressive.
What do you like, Rhino?
The backpack.
Yeah.
There's like it's like they've skinned one of the Navi alive and have turned it into a backpack.
They're making wallets out of the Navi.
It puts the lotion on its skin.
I think they're good. And then they do have a like they did for Star Wars weekends way back when you could be made into a stormtrooper, a little model of yourself. They do have an avatar version of this where they will do the facial scan of you.
Oh my God,
and
that's
you
so
get
cool.
to be turned into a little avatar figure that you can take home. And that will also be very, very
Oh my,
popular.
I
I'm
cannot
sure.
wait.
And
I
believe
cannot wait
that
to
was
see this.
it was under $100. I don't remember the exact price of it, but it wasn't completely unaffordable. So I think a lot of people will be impressed with it. And if they're not, the last thing to obviously talk about is nighttime in Pandora, which we got to see just the smallest of glimpses at.
They wouldn't allow it. They were not complete, so we could not shoot towards the mountains.
Yeah.
So everything you see is completely limited. That's
Yeah.
what they.
But this is what the area looks like at night. It's
Yeah.
all lit up like
Yes.
this.
Yeah, they did deliver on what they said. Like I mentioned at the start of this, everything felt living. The pathways felt living as they were glowing under your feet. The plant life it was almost like the lights would be pulsing on them.
All right, so here's
that way-
the question. Here's the question I have. The main criticism that I have had about this is the extraordinary amount of time it has taken for them to build this.
I can answer that. Every square inch of this land is hand painted and hand sculpted.
Yes.
Every square inch was hand painted and hand sculpted. You go into the queue when you see things that are woven. These are all hand woven. You go into the canteen, you look around, you see all those decorations. That's all handmade. I can see the level of detail. I've always respected Joe Rohde. I have an entire new respect for him now. The amount of detail that the team put into it. He won't take responsibility for anything. Like, as far as like you praise him, he's like, no, it wasn't me. Yeah. But it has,
And I tried.
It has Joe Rohde all over it. I actually wanted to go up to Joe Rohde and say, you know what, Joe, I still see Camp Mini Mickey.
Yeah. He would have throttled you right
I
there.
would have taken that earring out and stabbed you with it.
It's not only that. What Joe and his team tried to do is they saw Avatar for what it was, and they saw the themes, the ideals, what was at the basis of it. That's why this is in Animal Kingdom and not in Disney's Hollywood Studios, immersing you into the movie. They saw the themes of conservation and a balance of life in nature.
tree hugging
together.
hippie stuff,
And
yeah.
Exactly, and they found this, and that's why they placed it there. And I think, I bet there was a lot of back and forth between the two of them, wanting for Joe to take and explore this brand new route with it. And so I'm sure that's where a lot of the development took place, is convincing James Cameron to let it go that way. But didn't get a confirmation on that, but he really said over and over again, this was about
Cameron
getting
there?
He was not. Just
No.
John Landau and Joe Rohde. I spoke to Joe Rohde. I interviewed him real quick, and then I probably spent 15 minutes just asking him question after question after question at night in there, and they were both willing to talk about anything from it. And
You ask Joe one question, he just goes off because
Yeah.
he's so passionate about this. And I want to say this, talking about the conservation, is that when you walk through this land, you might see things that look like they don't fit. You might see like an oil container, or you might see rust on the concrete. That was put there to kind of show how humans can really mess up something so beautiful.
Well, the timeline is that this is after the movie
like-
and that the company has moved out and sort of there's
Yeah.
things left over
Right.
from the company.
yeah,
So
like 20 years afterwards, RDA is gone. Ace is in there with everything. Yeah, just long story short, they knocked it out of the park. They took a movie that was very popular, kind of just forgot about the fact that it was a movie, said it can be something bigger. It can be this land that doesn't require, if the movie goes away and everyone forgets it, this will still live on.
So does Disney have a massive hit on their hands with this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There
And if
wasn't
it-
a lot of hesitation there.
No.
No,
If-
there was a lot of wow factors. That they were trying to, we were moving in a small group and moving pretty fast, and you were like, there was so much to absorb and take in, and even coming out of the ride, you can just look at everybody's faces. They were like,
enough
Whoa.
to turn around the naysayers.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Anyone who walks out of this saying, meh, it was just okay, either they only strictly care about thrills and doing attractions, stuff like that. Disney, that's what Disney and Universal's trying to do, is separate it from just being about ride after ride after ride after gift shop after gift shop,
Right.
and make it this bigger experience that you can only get in theme parks. And this is exactly what Disney did. They made this an experience that if you don't go on any of the attractions, if you just let the world envelop you, it's
The one
take your
thing,
breath away.
the one thing I will say, that we were able to experience this with no crowds. So I don't know how this land will hold a crowd. That's yet to
Well,
be
I mean,
seen.
we'll have an
Yes.
official review of it
Yeah.
after it actually opens.
Yeah.
This is a sneak peek of it, but you said enough to get me excited. But I'm really looking forward to this.
I want to add one thing. It's going to be crowded no matter what. If you're a fan or you're not a fan, people are going to want to see it. If you're staying at a Disney resort, May 27th through July 4th, there's going to be extra magic hours at night for Pandora World of Avatar, 11
May
p.m. to 1
27th
a.m.
through July 4th?
to July 4th.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a
so
long
all
time.
summer you're going to be able to see it at night, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. if you're a Disney resort guest. Good perk.
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for that. Appreciate the great job you both did. And I want to say thank you to Jackie Gailey, too, who was covering this weekend on the content team.
and Will, who helped her.
And Will Perry. The two of them were getting this content up on the site at a breakneck pace. They did an amazing job. Everybody did. I was really, really proud of you guys. I was watching the communication going back and forth. It was like, God, I can't believe this is my site running like this. This is so cool. So it was awesome. So thank you very much for that.